box score says 71-60. That game was much closer than 71-60. Dixie State has a phenomenal program that just continued to build every year, and that was a dogfight. We fouled too much in the first half, and Dixie State, with their aggression, with the way they played, they forced us into fouling, and we got to do better. They did a good job executing their game plan. We did a better job in the second half in terms of defending. The ball got a little bit stagnant, but late game our guys made a lot of plays, and that was good to see.
You're up 14, and then I'm sure it didn't surprise you to see them make a run. You knew that that's the type of game it was probably going to be, but that's when your guys have to step up and make some key plays. Yeah. What was that? Trey talked about that last media timeout, said that was a big moment. What was that stretch like?
Yeah, well, that stretch was, we talked about a lot of things, but the main thing is sustain the effort and be a player in a team that makes multiple efforts. I was happy to see in the box score, obviously the 11 steals. In a game as physical with as many fouls as there were, to still have 17 assists, that was gratifying to see. That was gratifying to see. Again, conference play, this is what conference play is all about. It's a battle, it's a fight. Every single game is tough.
Mark, can you talk about maybe Ethan Potter? I mean, he had to give you some minutes there in the second half with all the foul trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe the numbers don't stick out, but just having another body in there to rebound and to defend, because they were getting a lot of shots around the rim.
They were. I mean, Ethan Potter had 3 block shots. He had 3 block shots. He got in there. He had 2 rebounds, and so Ethan gets better every game. He's building. Every step that Ethan makes, he builds and becomes an even better player. Obviously, we have the confidence to put him in. He's been having some really strong practices. Ethan, from when he came until now, his defensive voice and his defensive knowledge has skyrocketed through the roof, and that's been great to see.
Can you talk about Trey? It was after that media timeout, about 3:30 left. He hits that 3. He also hit a driving layup there. I mean, that kind of turned the momentum back in favor of Utah Valley right there. He's been really good for you as of late. I know you've talked about him being really good all season long, and since he came into the program, just your thoughts on Latrey.
Well, Latrey has been here at Utah. Latrey Darthor has been here at Utah Valley for 3 years now, and you talk about a true professional. Latrey is always in the gym working out. Latrey studies film. We almost always, I'll say the word always, I'm sure there's an exception, but we always put Latrey on the other team's best perimeter player. He never gets tired, and so I was also really proud of Latrey last game because he kept shooting the 3. He and I talked about it yesterday in practice. He shot 3 or 4 that were in and out in the first half 2 nights ago. And Latrey, as a freshman, would have been more hesitant to shoot later in the game. Latrey kept on shooting the basketball. He kept on shooting the basketball against Sam Houston, and he came up with some huge 3s late in that game.
Trey Woodbury, it feels like, was always making the right shot tonight, and I'm not just talking about 20 points and 4 threes, but 5 assists. He had a really key one down the stretch when they were coming back. I think he found Latrey towards the end when it got really dicey there. Is that just an example of his experience, his leadership kind of taking over in late game situations to find the right guy or make the right shot, whatever, make the right pass, whatever it is?
Yeah, I would say this about Trey Woodbury, Sean. Trey Woodbury is like having an extension of the coaching staff on the floor at all times. And again, Trey was here in our first year, and so Trey's going on 4 years here, and the relationship that Trey and I have, and that Trey has with the basketball staff, it's he will see things on the court, the way the other team is playing the pick and roll, the way the other team is trying to close off lanes, and he'll communicate with us in real time. Trey Woodbury is like having a second coach on the floor.
You kind of touched on this, Mark, but the defense was really what gave you the win. I mean, they had a few chances to take the lead, a couple of open looks, and then it was a 3-point game, and your defense just kept making stops down stretch to allow you to pull away to the 11-point win. Those defensive moments, those are the biggest parts of the game, really, because it prevents them from getting any momentum.
Defense is exactly what we've tried to preach, and that bore itself out tonight. It absolutely bore itself out. We, in the timeouts, pregame, in our preparation yesterday, we kept preaching defend. And our guys, I mean, obviously, you have to give Utah Tech credit. I mean, they had some great plays against us. You know, but especially in the second half late, and like you said, I felt like our guys locked in and we were able to steady the ship a little bit.
End of the year, you know, I know basketball season doesn't feel like the end of the year because you still got 3 big months ahead. But as we turn the page, you know, 2023, you got a team that's playing really good basketball. You've seen it grow from what we've talked about, you know, since the preseason.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts now as you get ready for the next, you know, these next three months? It's what you worked for all year.
Yeah, my thoughts there are that the WAC conference, and you and I have talked about this, the WAC conference is one of the toughest conferences, probably one of the most underrated conferences in America. I was, you know, and I'll say it again, I was talking to a Power 5 and they said, you know, we try not to mess with the WAC as much because there's so many programs that are having really strong, not just years, but strong, you know, 3 and 4 year stretches. And so that's an honor to be part of because the competition is so high. But at the same time, I mean, Jared, you talk about our weeks. I mean, it's film sessions, it's you know, strategy sessions, it's getting on synergy. I mean, the amount of work that goes into a single basketball game by the staff, by the players, by the strength coach is immense. It's immense. And I can't say enough about the staff here, how hard they work and the job that they do. I can't say enough about it.
Not a night off in the WAC, right?
Name one team, Kyle. Name one team.
You can't.
I mean, you used to, two years ago, you used to be able to say Chicago State, 3 years ago. But even last year, Chicago State was knocking people off. Now they're out of the conference. But you can't say that. There's not a single easy night in this conference.
I gotta ask you always come into those media sessions without your tie on. Is that like just a style thing, or is that just a comfortable thing, I guess?
Well, let me accentuate that. So
Pull out a little chest hair too.
No, we're good. After every win, I give a green tie to somebody that came out from the community. And you know, it's a fun tradition. I tell the student section, if you're ever at Subway and I'm at Subway, I'm buying you a free sandwich. You know, and those are little ways that we try to connect with the community.
How you partying?